Hey guys, this is Alissa, and we have a really exciting episode here on Teenage Critic today. I'm going to actually go skydiving, and you're going to be with me as I jump out of a plane, plus a bunch of cool other things, so stick around. Hey guys, this is Alissa and you're watching Teenage Critic. We're here at the Boston Skydive Center where, get this, I'm going to jump out of a plane and go skydiving. So first we need to get suited up, get some instruction, and talk to the guy who's actually going to be jumping out of the plane with me. So stick around.
Are you ready?
It is. Yeah.
You can go ahead and climb on in.
Hey guys, this is Alissa and you're watching Teenage Critic. I'm here with Dean, who's actually the owner of the Boston Skydive Center, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what I should expect when I jump out of this airplane at 10,000 feet.
Going to 10,000 feet. You're going to be falling about 120 miles an hour for about 40 seconds before we open the parachute.
All right, so once the parachute opens, how long is it from there to the ground?
You're going to be on the parachute in 5 to 10 minutes. Depends how many turns and stuff you want to do. The parachute ride is a little bit more of a roller coaster feeling than free fall is. Free fall's kind of relaxing. It's you don't feel like you're falling. You don't get that dropping sensation like on a roller coaster. You feel like you're in the same place. It's kind of like a zero gravity feeling. And it's just windy. It's a really cool feeling.
So what are people's typical reactions to, being up in the plane and then afterwards?
Most people are usually terrified once the door opens up. Whether they show it or not, a lot of people keep it inside. Some people express that a little bit more than others. But once you get out of the airplane, all that fear tends to go away. Because as soon as you step off and you make that commitment, like I say, there's not that dropping sensation or scary feeling. It's kind of a feeling of relief, and it's just nice and windy and weightless.
So tell me a little bit about your job. How did you become to be a skydiving professional?
I started when I was 18 years old. I saw it on a bunch of TV shows and I had to try it. And I just kept going back and eventually learned how to skydive and worked my way into teaching and filming and eventually owning my own skydiving center.
Now, how many times do you have to jump before you can jump on your own?
You have to make one tandem skydive and then you can go through the ground school. And the ground school usually consists of about 7 or 8 jumps where you'll jump with an instructor. Then after those jumps, you'll be cleared to do solo jumps.
And about how many people do you jump with every week?
It varies depending on weather and stuff, but on a busy day, you could do 20, 25 jumps in a day.
So we're interviewing you as part of a segment we call Cool Jobs, and you have a pretty cool job. What do you think your favorite part of your job is?
I don't know, there's many parts of it I think that are pretty cool. You get a lot of time off. You also work a lot, but you get to meet a lot of people. I don't know, why is it cool? Because it's just awesome.
is he tells you to put your feet on the little chair that's hanging out of the plane.
Yeah.
But the thing is that my feet wouldn't sit. I was trying to sit on the little chair, but I couldn't. My feet were just trying to go out the window.
Away.
They were trying to fly away.
Because of the wind.
Yeah. All right, so that was crazy. I was so nervous being up there in that plane, just knowing I was about to jump out. Anyway, up next we have a food for thought, so stick around.
I got my 2 sacks of McGoodness right here. So what we're gonna do, just gonna give you an idea of how this food is breaking down in your body. I'm just gonna put it in some jars, kind of show you how it breaks down on its own over time, over the next, 4, 5, 6, 7 months. So in here, we've got my favorite right there, the Big Mac. So we're gonna put the Big Mac right here in jar number 1. Chicken McGrill. There you go. Boy, let me tell you something, the smell of this food, I just want to take a bite out of it already. One of the worst things on the whole menu, the filet o fish. Look at that thing. It still looks terrible. Going right in there. Next, quarter pounder. That actually looks like meat. There's the quarter pounder. Some fantastic fries. So we're just going to dump right in this jar, right there. In that last jar, we're going to get a hamburger from up the street, from a place where they actually make real hamburgers, where they take the patties and they press them with their own hands and put them on the grill. It's like real meat. And lastly, French fries from a regular restaurant. See what happens at the same time. 2 weeks, French fries from a regular restaurant. 2 weeks, French fries from a McDonald's restaurant. 2 weeks sweaty, moldy burger in there. That burger's all moldy. The filet of fish just starting to mold. That's some kind of cheeseburger. And the Big Mac, still nothing. Big Mac hasn't even started to mold yet. Big Mac, still looks like we just bought that thing. Lettuce, a little moldy. Chicken McGrill, definitely seen some better days. That thing is beat up. Filet of fish, look at that white fuzz on the top of it. The quarter pounder, that thing's got a rainforest going on inside there. This burger, same thing. Look, it's starting to get juicy on the bottom. The bun is just like coagulating into some kind of goo. Here's the regular French fries. Those things are black and crazy. Want to see what the McDonald's French fries look like? Check this out. That's right. Some kind of fluke of nature. That's right. This can't explain. But this is what you're eating every time you get these fries. Ooh, that's the Big Mac. That looks good, doesn't it? Mmm, look at this. Oh, the chicken McGrill looks fantastic. Oh, that's so yummy. Look at the filet of fish. That's very impressive. Quarter pounder, really coming to the end of the road. And are you ready for the French fries? You ready? That's right. Look at that, folks. Why are these not breaking down? That's a really good question. And you have to ask yourself, wow, what's that doing in my stomach then? Big Mac, 8 weeks. Chicken McGrill. I don't even know what that runny liquid goo is right there. Now we move on to the delicious filet of fish. What do we got? 8 weeks. Mossy goodness. Look at that fuzzy little sandwich. Here's the quarter pounder with cheese in a little sweat box that's happening there. Look at that. Looks like the ice age is set in on our quarter pounder with cheese. McDonald's French fries. It's now been 2 months, and look what's happening here. That's right. Still nothing. "10 weeks on the Big Mac. Frosty goodness. Look at the chicken McGrill. 10 weeks
Oh, the Filet-O-Fish. Ooh, does it get any better than that? I don't even know what that fuzz on the top is. Week number 10, quarter pounder. Some kind of crazy little science experiment happening there. Look at that. What is wrong with that? There's not even one little sporosaur on there. There's not nothing breaking down. Nothing. Looks like we bought them yesterday.
So I'm actually shooting live today from the Fox Point Marina, and as you can see, Providence is such a great place to be in the summer. You have the city right over there, but right here we have these marinas where people can rent out the little boat houses for the season, and people from all over the world can come dock their boats in Providence. Anyway, up next we have a student film made by a local student from the Gimme 5 Film Festival, or maybe it was Beacon Charter High School. I don't know, I'll let you be the judge, so stick around to find out more.
A film of this nature was not what I had intended to create at the start of my senior year. This was originally planned to be a film similar to the others that many of my peers created. A film with characters and a planned out story. But that's just not how life actually is, and as my last message to this audience, I want to represent the real me, a person that many of you never knew I was. I've been a student at Beacon for almost 4 years now, and by now, if you know anything about me, you should know that storytelling, film, and pretty much anything to do with presenting just isn't me. Since what has been figured to be a young age, I have been dealing with dysthymia, a mild and consistent form of depression, as well as social phobias and anxiety. I say dealing because I wouldn't consider these disorders as suffering when compared to the many others that one could have. However, these cause severe difficulties when trying to get my feelings and opinions out to an audience, or even to a single person. In turn, I never really had many close relationships when I was younger, and I've always found myself being part of the background. Taking comfort in the background may have been why I took to art so much during my middle school years. I knew I wasn't the best of artists, nor am I now, but I'm still glad I brought art into my life. Without art, I would have never found Beacon. Beacon has made one of the largest impacts on my life. I found faculty who pushed and supported me, and I finally began to strive in school again after a huge drop in motivation during my middle school years. On top of that, I was finally able to meet and befriend people who had similar interests as me, something that I used to evade at almost all costs. And although it sounds a bit cheesy, I've made some of my first and closest friendships here. Going to an art school, however, I thought I might lose interest in my lifelong passion since it has nothing to do with art. I truly believe that this passion was made permanent when I ended up in the hospital fighting for my life at the age of 8. An event in my life I'm sure some may have heard about. For those who may not have, around Easter 2004, I became violently ill. Multiple times my parents brought me to the emergency room, only to be told that I had the stomach flu. After a good week or so of pain, my father insisted that I be given an ultrasound. There, it was discovered I had a ruptured appendix. This late diagnosis allowed time for me to become septic, or filled with poisonous bile, causing lethal complications. This sadly was not the only mistake, as they messed up my medications, forgot to remove stitches, and improperly placed IVs. Overall, I ended up going through 5 different operations and numerous procedures. A good portion of my time spent at the hospital, I was too medicated to be aware of what was going on around me. Nevertheless, when I finally did wake up, it was the other children I felt bad for. Of course, I was scared for myself and was tired of being prodded and poked. But who wouldn't be if they were in that situation? Still, I found myself being more concerned for the kids I met, who were my age and younger and already had virtually incurable diseases. I had always wanted to be a doctor since childhood, but from that point forward, I knew without doubt I would be part of the medical field when I was older. I do admit to almost losing grasp of that dream during middle school, though. I hit a low in my happiness and thusly ended up with very low grades. However, I've excelled in high school and was one of the 2013 seniors accepted into the Community College of Rhode Island's Running Start program, allowing me the chance to get a head start on my future. So that leaves me where I am today, a college student studying hard to achieve our goals. One day I know I will get where I want to be, even if it's going to take me 8 or more years to get there. I will finally be able to help and heal people, just like I've always dreamed about doing.
Jaylene, what would you like to be when you grow up? A doctor!
This is a New England town, built because a guy once had the guts to say that your religion is your own business, and to do something about it. Not that that idea is new to the other 47 states, but here's where it started. And here's the guy, Roger Williams, who left the Puritan colony of Massachusetts and founded Providence, where Catholics, Jews, and Quakers, as well as Puritans, could be free. His church is a shrine here, and his fighting spirit has never died in this Yankee town, though it's grown up now, 28 stories up. The whole state of Rhode Island is hardly big enough to turn a 6x6 in, and the towns, Pawtucket, Woonsocket, Bristol, are small. But Providence is big. That smoke there may be from mills that made the cloth for your uniforms. Providence is capital of the state, and business center, too. Leave it to the Yankees to have trackless trolleys instead of buses. Electricity's 10 times cheaper than gas. These trolleys keep going all day, taking 3 shifts of workers to war plants like this. Rhode Island can't do the heavy jobs. Its plants are better at small parts, sub-assemblies. But don't let the size fool you. These women are making zippers for parachute cases. Small stuff? Ask the man who owns one. This plant switched from bread knives to bayonets for carbines. That's right, bayonets for carbines. Your gun is made in the big munitions plants, but here, you get the point. Lots of you shop from Army Exchange. And believe you us, those pictures aren't half as sharp looking as the real thing. You can count on a nice, juicy thank you letter if you send one of these to your pinup back home. Jewelry's a big thing up here, but most of what they're making now looks best on OD. These girls work with loving care on bars, oak leaves, chickens, and all the way up to the Combat Infantry Badge. From shop and school, Rhode Island goes to war. Reserves and V-12s cram on how to stay alive in historic halls where once men learned how to live. Brown, first university to state in its charter that men of all faiths must be free to enter. But peacetime life isn't all gone. With parents out at war plants, kids all over the country have run wild. But not here. Boys' clubs are a Providence standby, and they've doubled their efforts now. Swimming meets, pet shows like this one, and especially sandlot baseball, which the cops set up, have more than held their own against Joe's pool room in the corner bar. Watch his low one, Sonny. Advice from Tim O'Neill, famous old Providence coach. All kinds of kids learning to get to first base for themselves, carrying on the way Roger Williams hoped they would. Down the coast, there's a whole other world. Newport, playground of the pedigreed. As out of place in Rhode Island as a 3-inch steak in a can of K-ration. Its gilded age was the 1900s, when the great fortunes were being made in oil and railroads. One party here cost $100,000. But what with taxes and the passing of time and the help shortage, the 100-room cottages are for sale, with no takers. This was the swanky Newport Casino, where they played the tennis matches, until the hurricane struck. Like the colony, the old clans have broken up, and Newport's glamour is only a legend now. Once, even the ocean was marked private. They looked up your family tree before they let you on the beach. But now it's open house at Bailey's Beach for GI families. Newport's a Navy town. The training station dates from the Civil War. After Pearl, the Blue Jacket population went sky high. Here's a housing project built for service families. They're more like the year-round residents. For though it's a resort and a Navy base, Newport's a small town, too. And because it's small, it has something that's missing in so many American cities. Look at rationing, for instance. Maybe this man's been overcharged. Or maybe he's wrong. Important thing is that here he can straighten it out across the table from his neighbors. It's an old New England custom, talking things out together. It started in town meetings back in the 1600s. Here's a public bull session on how to bring new industry to the town, or whether to push local housing plans. America, the place where, whoever you are, you can say what you want. Sundays included. Planning the fight for ideas such as these goes on across Narragansett Bay in the Naval War College, where top brass from all services goes back to school. Here, 4 stripers and Army and Marine colonels dope things out with an admiral. Just in from combat, they study recent Pacific strategy working as a team, so that you and the men at this base can come home that much earlier. They're ready, and workers from Spokane to Mobile are racing the clock to get their ships ready, so that they can pitch in with you. By the time you see this picture, these men will be in the Pacific, on that tin can lying off your island, or on the battle wagon down the bay, or in a PT boat. Up at Melville, at the torpedo station, is where the PTs train. These are the slippery little boats that are keeping the Japs bottled up on the Palau Islands. They sniped at Jap battle wagons in the Surigao Strait. These are the PTs that now, as you move north for the kill, will be on the go after enemy supply ships.
So I had such a great time hosting the show today. Thanks for tuning in. And skydiving is something that I will remember for the rest of my life. Anyway, guys, until the next time, I'm Alissa, and this is Teenage Critic. Remember to catch us every Saturday at 11:30 on PBS 36.